Hi, I'm Rob. Thanks for tuning in. Right now I'm going to talk about cables. You've got a variety of cables that we'll use in connecting equipment, like microphones to mixers, guitars to mixers, or wireless receivers, all kinds of interconnecting cables, all right? So here's a standard mic cable. This is an XLR connector. There's a male and a female end. There's one that has sockets, one that has pins. And so when you use a microphone like this, it's got 3 pins so that it works with a balanced circuit. So you could say a mic cable is a balanced cable. Well, it's not a balanced cable, really. It's actually the mixer that has a circuit in it that does the balancing. It's a balanced circuit for the mixer. A balanced circuit is important because it helps to cut down on noise. The differential amplifier in the mic preamp is able to eliminate the common mode and reject. It's called common mode rejection. It's able to reject the noise and just bring in the signal. So a mic cable is a balanced cable, and if you're looking at used equipment, you have to make sure that the connectors, it looks like it's in good working order and that it works. Just test the cable, right? If something's not working later on, you're trying to troubleshoot a problem, maybe it's the mixer, maybe it's the microphone or all that. It could also be the cable, and usually I've found suspect the cable first, right? Especially if it's used equipment. Okay, there are other kinds of cables that you should be aware of. There's this is a little jumper. There's a 1/4-inch connectors here. Here you have a tip, you have a ring, and you've got a sleeve, right? This looks like something you might have on a stereo headphones. I have a pair of headphones here. They've got a connector that looks just like this. This is a balanced interconnect. You can plug this into like a wireless receiver, and then plug that into your board, into your mixer. This is a wireless receiver. It's actually got 2 outputs. It's got an XLR output, and it's got a 1/4-inch output. And the way to connect this, you can connect the jumper cable like that, and then right into the board. That's important too when we're buying used gear. It's important when we buy used gear because you're kind of limited in what's available on the market. I'm going to just grab a mixer over here that I have. This is a board that you might find. This has 4 mic channels. Again, these are balanced inputs. These are balanced inputs. Okay, that's great. If you have microphones, if you have a small board like this, maybe it's got 4 or 6 or 8 or 12 inputs, right? And you're using wireless microphones, you can actually plug the microphones, those wireless microphones in here. These are this I think has 2 channels on this board. Others have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 auxiliary inputs. So you can plug a receiver using one of those balanced cords into a mixer such as this. And you can leave these other channels open for microphones. Okay. There are other things to know about cables. There's another kind of a jumper. So I showed you this. I think the one I showed you was yellow when I plugged it in. This guy is the balanced 1/4-inch jumper. Here's one that's not balanced, okay? So what we see here is we see a tip and a sleeve. There's not a ring. So this is only a 2-conductor cable. This is okay. You can use this. The signal level will be a little bit less as it gets transferred into the mixer. There's an electromagnetic principle for that. It's the way the circuit works and all that. Just you can connect it with an unbalanced cable, but you won't have the benefit of noise rejection. For a long run, that's a problem. For a shorter run, you could probably get away with it. It's okay. These are a little cheaper because there's a little less to deal with. A couple of other important points and then we'll be out. This what I have here is an instrument cable. It's labeled as an instrument cable, and you don't want to use an instrument cable for this kind of an interconnect that we've been talking about. So this is not meant to go from like one mixer to another or to go from a wireless receiver to a mixer. This is for really a guitar, bass guitar, electric guitar, that kind of thing, right? So the reason for that is because this is coaxial cable, slightly different. These cables here that we were showing, even the unbalanced one, this is like a twisted pair. Well, this actually might not be an actual twisted pair. This guy is actually a twisted pair. So there are the 2 main conductors, then they're surrounded by a shield. In this guy, this is a coax. It's a different construction. The reason why you don't want to use this is because this is really meant for a high impedance connection These guys are all low impedance connections. All right. The guitar is a high impedance instrument, and it works perfectly with this cable. This kind of a cable has a characteristic capacitance, and that's really what one of the major factors in the impedance of this cable is. Okay, so if you see an instrument cable, if you're using it for an instrument, great. If you're not, don't use it. All right, there's other things too here I want to show, and this will be it. So you have adapters, and you might have an adapter like this. This is something that converts. This is where you can plug in two XLR connectors of the same kind and interconnect them. So this is what we call a straight-through connector, and that's fine. If you need to use an adapter to adjust, the connector that you're using, that's fine. Go ahead and use that. Actually, we use that. Here's another kind of a cable. This happens to be an insert cable. What it does doesn't matter, but here I'm using it actually as a stereo cable. This has a tip ring sleeve. I've used this adapter so that I can plug it into my phone or an iPad or something. And then I can plug these other two unbalanced connections into a mixer, like an auxiliary input or a stereo input, and I can play my phone or the iPad. This is the other adapter though, and this is the one that you have to be careful of. You want to look at this because on one side it's got that 1/4 inch tip sleeve, and on the other end it's got an XLR. This actually is doing a conversion from high impedance to low impedance, or from low impedance to high impedance. You have to look on it and you have to sort of see the markings. It's actually a transformer in there, and there's resistors and capacitors, and that's what actually sets the frequencies that this guy can pass and can filter. Right? So the impedance change, the transformer is doing the impedance change. This will affect the sound, so if you use it in the right way, it's perfect. If you try and just, I just need to convert an XLR to a 1/4 inch, well, you might be doing something to the sound that you really didn't intend. I mean, bottom line is, it's really not hard once you learn it. But if you don't know it, feel free to ask. Put a comment below and ask a question. Fine, we'll get you the answer. Or seek out someone who you know, who's maybe a technologist, who's worked with audio systems before, and they can help you. They can guide you on what adapters you actually need. Okay, good. So again, last point. When you're buying some used equipment, a box of cables that a guy's getting rid of, go through them, test them, maybe learn how to solder, and you can fix and replace the ends. You can get a bargain in a box like that. A snake cable, audio cable. You might have to replace the ends, but you know what? If you can get a good deal, why not? Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the little bell so you can be notified when new posts are posted. Have a great day.